All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dancing Banan. I am here with Nivex, and welcome back to the Wednesday of the Week 10 Meridian Collegiate Conference. Nivex, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, you can't see it right now, but I'm rubbing my hands together because I'm excited. I'm super excited for the rest of this week 10, the last bit of league play, the last bit of conference play, because right now we're figuring out what the playoffs are going to look like. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. We got 2 games tonight. We're going to have Iowa State versus Kansas State and Maryland versus Texas Tech. But I think we start with this first game coming up, Iowa State versus Kansas State. There's a lot on the line for both of these teams. Well, for one of these teams. The other team's here for the fun of it, honestly. Iowa State, they have a funny little thing going. They have a certain scenario. If they win this game, they will be the first seed in the Northern Conference. However, if they were to lose this game to Kansas State, they're game 1 of the playoffs. They will be the second seed and playing against Kansas State again. So, things are looking like Iowa State, they need to win out, especially after a loss that they had last week.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I feel like a lot of this has kind of been caused by some of the chaos of this last stretch in this week. This like week 9, week 10 stuff, because PSU started kicking and making things really interesting. And I mean, right now we have a fight going on for the 4th seed. Not only that, Iowa State ended up losing to Pratt, which dropped them down and even made the number 1 seed something that people could reach. It's been all over the place, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's absolute chaos, but there's a lot that both of these teams do very differently from each other. And some things that they aren't so different. But I think one of the big things I want us to talk about is that Kansas State is a very offensive team, right? They are in top 5 in so many categories. 8 shots per game, 2.4 goals per game, 4.16 goals and assists per game. And then you compare that to Iowa State, where they're not quite as offensive, right? 7.8 shots per game, 6 in the league, 2 goals per game, 9, below the average. But they have a much more physicality, that Iowa State team, and their defensive play is honestly superb. It's the thing that's been in these games so often. 6.7 shots against them, 3rd in the league, 1.5 against them in goals, 3rd in the league as well. So we'll see if that's going to be the final difference maker here for these teams.
Yeah, we will have to see, because I mean, I feel it might be slightly unfair looking at some statistics, because Iowa State did come into the season with a little bit of a slow start, might be a fair thing to say. During their non-conference play, I think they went 1-2, but the moment that they started playing in the Northern Conference, they seem to just pick it up, and they have just not stopped swinging. So with the loss against Pratt, is that a moment where they're finally coming down from this momentum they've been carrying the entire season? Is Kansas State going to be able to take advantage of that, as they've shown to be a very solid force throughout the entire season? We will just have to see.
Yeah, and I think you're talking about is this going to be a downtrend for Iowa State? I think for most teams, I think it would be, right? But I think one of the things I didn't talk about before this game's about to start is the coach. Iowa State, I think, is one of the teams that has a coach that's consistently in the spectating lobby during these games. That's actually talking to them in between games. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits that'll help, especially in a week-by-week basis. And I think we'll see that play here again. But I think let's get to the Iowa State-Kansas Preds. Nivex, who do you think is going to win this?
This is such a tough decision. This is so hard, but I think I'm going to have to go with Kansas State. Something tells me that even though, as much as it is, important to say they don't really have too much of a stake of changing what their seed is like, they're not going to end the season on a loss. I don't believe that they will, and I think that Iowa's loss against Pratt says a lot more than Kansas State's loss against PSU.
Yeah, but on the other end, I will be choosing Iowa State. I'm such a believer in them having a coach and them being able to bounce back. And I think in general, Kansas State, this is a downtrend now for 2 weeks. It's not just been one. So let's go for that. 2-2 here. Fast has gone for Iowa State. Parf has gone for Kansas State. What does the coin think? Break the tie on the desk before this kickoff goes underway.
What does the coin think? The ultimate decider. It is going to go Iowa State.
Iowa State will have the favor here on the desk as kickoff goes underway. Right away, Moon will be here for Kansas State. It's going to be on the orange. Iowa State will be the blue, but right away, there's going to be a play here. Alien Techno is going to cut off Iowa State's clear, and Milky can't quite reach it. Jones going to take a big 50 here from Giro, and right away, Kansas State are starting with the offense, but it looks like Iowa State will try to break away.
They're going to try and break away, and I mean, I feel like we're going to see a decent bit of this. These are two very solid teams, two very powerful teams in the North, and we're not going to get moments of pause. We're not going to get moments where one team is just completely, overpowering the other. We're going to have moments of back and forth. We're going to have strong efforts from each side as a demo comes through from Milky, but not quite able to catch the next defender. And in that case, Kansas State, they're going to stay alive for the moment.
Yeah, heavyweight fighters here. Obviously, Kansas State originally was thought to be one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. They haven't had quite that same thing ever since their Washington State game, I would say. They've been on a bit of a downtrend, but Iowa State obviously has been the number one team. Still technically are, if should things go as expected. But I think especially Nebraska coming in there, I think the entire North is an entire mess of absolute champions.
Yeah, and as much as that might sound like a little bit of an over-exaggeration, I think right now the North has some of the best overall, records past CSUF, who is just completely just dominated everything for the longest time. The overall records for our top three are pretty solid, and I say "are" just because I'm a Penn State student, so apologies for the use of nouns there, but the North is definitely a pretty stacked conference.
Yeah, 100%, but Moon's going to try to put a shot here, gets saved. And Leo Techno's going to stick around, keeps this ball, keeps it close, but Salty will keep it away. Gurf, I think, in general, has been an amazing player for this team of Iowa State, as has Milky and Jones. Have also done their share, but right now, Kansas State with Moon will be trying to get this ball out, successfully do so. Techno will be putting back on the Iowa State half.
State half, we'll see Recumbent Jones try and settle it here, although handing it down to Milky, not exactly the touch that he was looking for. Salty gonna have to step in, make sure that ball doesn't get too much momentum going towards their side. A miss in the midfield might be the best word of choice there, as Gyro does put a shot on it, but that's gonna pop up just to the right of it, and Recumbent Jones able to, with a little bit of an assist, clear that out.
Yeah, right now, though, it looks like first person here is going to be Milky. There's going to be a quick follow-up from Gurf. He gets a reset. I don't think he can do anything with it. No, he gets the next touch. Not quite on target. Jones. He's able to finish it off, but that play came straight from Gurf right there. Going quick off of Milky's hit. Pete 1, get the reset. The double won't be quite in, and Jones cleans it all up. Techno, he has nothing to do. 3 minutes of the clock gone. A goal up for Iowa State.
Yeah, well, and right now, the first goal is going to be one of the most important things in this entire match, and it seems like they might be getting a second one off of maybe some kickoff confusion?
Yeah, technically just doesn't quite get it, and Giro, he cannot quite reach it. I think he's just turned away once he did it, but yeah, suddenly, it took 3 minutes for the first goal. Less than 10 seconds for the second.
Yeah, well, and sometimes momentum can be a real pain in the butt when you're playing Rocket League, as now Kansas State gonna have to fight back from 2 goals down with only a minute 30 and some to go, as another shot is gonna be thrown on net here. Gyro gonna see if maybe he can pinch it, not exactly the right direction, maybe would be the best way to say it, but Moon, he's gonna see if he can continue this in the corner, end up gonna get demoed, and the attack for Kansas State is there. It might just be a little slow at the moment.
Yeah, Giro tried to go for a fake there, but gets read well by Jones. He has been the guy. He gets a hat trick here in this series. And looks like he'll be the one to step up for Iowa State to try to make sure that they are able to keep the first seed.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I was somewhat alluding to this earlier. This first game is going to be so important. The first goal was going to be important, but now they're up by 3. So I guess the first 3 goals are going to be super important because in that case, it's going to be the team that dictates the speed, going to be the team that dictates how play is going to continue. And right now, Iowa State is doing that as Giro does try to put a shot on net there. Not exactly what he was looking for, but Alien Techno, I'm going to see if he can continue this. Maybe looking for a bump, not quite there, and Iowa State will break out of their half again.
Yeah, and at this point, unless there's a goal scored quick, not for Iowa State, I meant for Kansas State, Jesus. But right now, Alien Techno will get possession here, gets a heavy touch though, and Jones, he's been lights out in game 1, over 600 points. He has more than the entirety of Kansas State combined. But Techno will be able to defend that shot from Gerb. Milky puts one on target. Moon has to get his own save, but 15 seconds left. It is a formality at this point, and Iowa State has set the tone as we come into this final 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, I mean, coming into this match, I thought that, this first game was going to be a little bit more of a, 1-1, maybe 2-1, maybe 1-1 went into overtime or something like that. But Iowa State, they got the first goal. They got that kickoff goal right after it, and it didn't seem like Kansas State really had any way of answering.
Yeah, any way of answering, indeed. I think one of the big tells in this game was just the shot amount, quality over quantity usually, but when the quantity is 3 times your opponent's, that doesn't matter. 12 shots for Iowa State, 4 for Kansas State. Literally a single player for Iowa State had the same amount of shots as all of Kansas State there. That, I don't think that's going to be something sustainable, but obviously if that happens in a game, there's a chance that we'll have this extreme disparity coming into the next game if this is how Iowa State's going to play. And I think that's something you got to be worried about if you're Kansas State.
Yeah, you got to be worried about that. And also, you can't let Iowa State start running away with this. Rocket League, again, is very much so a momentum game. If you let a team start getting that momentum against you, start feeling comfortable against what you're doing, it's going to be hard to start fighting against that. It's going to be hard to start fighting against, the rapids that you're now trying to swim in. But we'll have to see if Kansas State can try and fight those waves as we get into this next game. Game 2. We'll see if they have an answer.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I would say the questions was, what's their response after losing what is one of the bigger upsets of last week? I think it might have been the biggest upset of the last few weeks we've had. But obviously right now, their response has been absolutely ruin Kansas State's day in game 1. And hope they want to continue this into game 2. Right now, there's already a shot for this team. Milky tried to make one happen. There's another air dribble from him, doesn't quite do. But a 50 from Jones, that was very lateral and a bit of team bumping. But won't get punished as that's actually going to be near the net of Kansas State. And already Kansas State is playing more defense.
Yeah, well, and a little awkward there coming off of the back wall. Alien Techno with 0 boost right now, still able to push it out a little bit. And it seems like the Kansas State team has at least collected some big pads or something along the lines to help them break out of their own half, as Iowa State just not letting it happen. That halfway line hasn't been touched in, I feel like, this whole minute until now.
Yeah, you had to jinx it for them, didn't you? But there's a, I think that was a bump. I don't fully tell, but there's a double commit, and neither of them reached the ball. Boost has been expended for Kansas State, but thankfully that clear goes over Salty's head, and Jones, he'll be trying to air dribble. It gets a 50 that goes very center. Milky's going to try to 50 Giro there, but no boost now for Giro. Who's going to be next? There's going to be a boost deal, actually, from the Iowa State side, but Alien Techno's going to just put a shot on net that has to get saved, and a bit of time to reset, though. It's not for long, as there's another shot. Then Milky puts it underneath. And 1-0. Again, Iowa State goes 4 goals now, unanswered. But with that, we keep on going now. 1-0, 3 minutes, 30 seconds left. Milky, good kickoff for them. There's going to be no one over there. There's going to be another shot from Salty. Can't quite in. Moon almost gets into Rule 1 there. I think one of them broke it. Come on now. as Giro puts it center. There's going to be no teammate there. They're all at the midfield line. They're so scared. Milky plays with his food. Can't quite do anything now. But Techno clears it out and buys his team even more time and boost that they desperately need. There's going to be a shot off the back wall. There's going to be Moon for a shot. There's going to be a save from Jones, and Milky will be racing. We'll get the back right, but no ball. Salty will clear us out safely. We'll get a follow-up touch. It feels like right now, the first man of this Kansas State team is a bit too late, but if he's on time, his second man's for sure going to be late. And right, it's going to be as 2 reaches for Iowa State. In that time, only 1 will be reaching for Kansas State, and constantly, that will never work out well.
No, well, and again, Kansas State's the ones that has to figure out how to get out of, I don't want to call it a slump, but they've got to figure out a way to get out of their own half, their own heads, their own something, because right now Iowa State is just doing what they want to do. They're getting away with what they want to get away with, but that won't be lasting long.
Yeah, good play there. Techno tries to shoots one straight at the back wall, bounces straight out. There's going to be no response from Iowa State, awkwardly enough. There's 3 in net, and Giro just powerful enough. 111 kilometers per hour, and it's 1-0. First goal in this series for Kansas State, and they needed one soon.
They needed one right now. Obviously, sooner is better, but you don't want to get into the later half of a game with a team that, at least last game, showed that they're pretty confident against you. And hey, in this case, you had some good setups. You had some good looks towards the midfield that ended up resulting in your shot, which shows that some of the momentum you're trying to move forward, some of the touches you're trying to get towards the other side of the field are working. We'll see if Gyro gets the bump, and Kansas State is gonna go up.
Yeah, Giro, a hero moment for him, beats 1, turns off the ball cam, sees Jones up, and gets the bump. Unselfish play for an unselfish player, and Tecto will get the credit there, but Giro was the maker of that goal. As we go, here we go, to Kansas State. Their first lead of the entire series now, with 100 seconds left, and Iowa State gotta see what their response is, but the response is not gonna be another goal for Kansas State, as Giro tries to put it top right when he didn't need to, and what could have been a 2-goal lead suddenly becomes a counterattack for Iowa State.
Yeah, well, and even with 0 boost right now, it looks like Jones and Milky are going to team up and do something, as Salty does put a shot on net, but Moon able to step in time, and I mean, yeah, you're up, but you just missed out on a big opportunity to go up 2. I know we always say that 2 is never a safe lead, but it is still a lead where you have a goal to separate yourself in case your opponent starts coming back. And I mean, after tenting the crossbar, Moon is able to find that bottom left corner, and now they're up by 2.
Yeah, it was just time delay, you know? Giro, we are going to talk about it, you know? You need to hit the training packs. Let's go with that. We won't speak anymore on that. We'll probably speak on post-game, but right now, Iowa State, they're going to try to score a goal as soon as they can. Jones gets a good 50, sticks around on this ball, but Moon, he is just harassing them and gets the boost in the end. Now Milky, third man, gets a touch, tries to cut back, but doesn't quite get it, but there's going to be a dem from Gurf, but it doesn't matter because Moon's going to be the first one on it. And as this 40-second timer reaches, there's going to be another demo. The physicality is coming up for Iowa State, but right now, that doesn't matter because they can't get this ball cleared out of their own half.
They can't, and I feel like this is a little bit of the opposite of what we saw starting off this game. It was Iowa State who had a lot of the pressure, a lot of the possession, even in the other side of the field, although, was that a defensive mishap?
I think Moon was going to go up for it, and he just backflips. And I don't know if he was going to reach it in the first place. It would have been very tight of a window, but, I mean, giving yourself some chance is better than giving yourself no chance. It's only 1 goal, 18 seconds. We've seen goals happen better, and that's a good start, though. There's a huge cutoff by Giro, and suddenly a very heavy touch that's going to go straight to Jones, actually. Milky's going to be the first one to it. There's a fake. No one's out there, and Moon's just going to hit it to the sidewall. This ball's going to stay up in the air, though, as the 0 seconds reaches. It's going to go straight down now that Giro's there, and there will be no chance for a 0-second goal as Kansas State ties the series all back up.
Back up. Well, and this is what we expected. We are expecting these teams to find answers for each other, or, maybe bounce back from moments where the other team was able to just capitalize on mistakes or capitalize on certain follies that seem to be existing. But in this case, Kansas State maybe still not playing to exactly what you might expect them to play to, but definitely doing what they need to, scoring 3 goals that could have been a little bit more, but enough for now to get them this game win.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because as much as we were saying that Iowa State, they felt like they didn't have as much as the offensive control, the stats don't fully agree. It was about 63-37 is what it's saying. That was kind of the same as actually last game on the field possession. So Iowa State still had the same amount of field possession. It just felt like Kansas State, they weren't getting as hammered in that. They were doing stuff off the ball. Like they were able to pick up their boosts or pick up the small pads. They were getting bumps and stuff to make that second man rotation for Iowa State just a bit more awkward. And they couldn't make a sustained pressure thing for as long periods of times. And in the end, that's what it turned out. And that's why the shots, and the goals, I guess you could say, favored Kansas State. But obviously, we are now here on Forbidden Temple, and arguably the most important game of the series is underway.
Yeah. On game number 3, whether it's a best of 5, whether it's a best of 7, as we might see when it comes to the playoffs in the future, game number 3 is going to be the determinant for a lot of things, and Kansas State, they want to start it off right.
Yeah, the Moon just gets a beat on Jones. Is going to off the corner. I think they respected Moon's touch there, and in the end, that wasn't the play, as Techno just got a free shot, and he's not going to miss that one. 11 seconds in, and the fastest goal of the series is to make Kansas State continue the success that they had in game 2.
Yeah, well, and as much as Kansas State has gone up right now, I know that Iowa State, they're not going to let them run away with this. Last game, yeah, it was a little bit of Iowa State possibly letting down their guard, possibly leaning back too far in their chairs, but it was really only that game 1 that one of these teams let the other team really get away with a decent amount of goals, a decent amount of pressure. But I don't think that it's going to be that easy. We're in game 3. Both of these teams are now starting to figure each other out, as Iowa State almost completely wipes the field clean. All the players going to have to rush to the blue side to even get to a challenge. And the ball is going to head to the Kansas State side with some Iowa State pressure.
Yeah, it was actually like a really key 50 there by Moon. Both of his teammates are gone. If you get beat there, that's an open net that they would be rushing to. But right now, they will be worrying about this current orange side fight, as Jones no boost, opts to leave it. Jiro doesn't go for a touch. He has no boost of himself. Right now, there is 2 players, though, for Iowa State that are full of boost, and Milky puts it center. Jones gonna try to put a shot on. It's gonna be on the left side. Techno gets a huge save. Who's first up? It's gonna be Salty, but huge 50 by Jiro, and that ball will stay near him. He gets actually past 1. Is that gonna be in? No, Jones will deny, but there's gonna be another shot that gets saved by Milky, but no boost, and suddenly Kansas State, they're putting the pressure on. Is there gonna be another shot from Jiro? And the sustained fight from Kansas State that Iowa State was doing in game 1 is now biting them back.
It's now biting them back indeed, because that was just shot after shot. I mean, you can sit there and say that some of the beginning shots weren't exactly the most threatening things, but sometimes just peppering the net, sometimes just looking to get the opponent defenders to do something, to move in an awkward position is exactly what you need, and that's exactly what Jiro found. He found one small moment where he could just pop a shot just a little bit above the last defender, and that's what they needed to go 2-0 in this game, and to, I dare say, get probably one of their stronger leads in the series, as Alien Techno is going to, well, make sure it is one of their strongest leads in the series.
Yeah, Milky, he tries to get a touch farther out, but Moon, he is all over that, just responds instantaneously, and Techno will be the one to be there first, and less than half the game has gone by, and this 3-goal lead, with how Iowa State has been playing since game 1, it's looking more and more insurmountable.
Yeah, well, and I feel like this is a repeat of game 1. Yeah, I, said that, I don't think Iowa State's going to let Kansas State run away with this. We still have half a game to play, all things considered, but it does seem like they're kind of letting Kansas State do that. They seem to just be at the whims of whatever demos, at whatever pressure, whatever amount of shots that Kansas State is putting on net. But I do see some demos creeping through some moments. It looks like 5 players were lined up on the goal line of Kansas State as Recumbent Jones just put something off the backboard, but a big clear, and Iowa State, they're going to have to reset.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that play from Jones. I think he had not the best attempt in the world to go for a shot on net, but it definitely was a non-zero one, but he's not going to even have a chance here as he gets taken off the field. Giro tries to put it center, won't quite. There's going to be 2 players up, but Jones will clear it well. Moon will be the first to it. Saves the shot, gets a little bit of a double, but Gurf won't get quite what he wants there, and Milky, very lateral techno, has no issues whatsoever. And once again, Iowa State, they maybe put 1 shot on target, and then Kansas State, they able to get possession, they were able to get to a teammate who's on the wall, and they were able to get it out over and over and over.
Yeah, well, and I feel like that's the important thing. As much as Recumbent Jones is going to make sure that this lead is not comfortable, so far, Kansas State has done a decent job in their defensive efforts in making sure that Iowa State does not have that much time on their side of the field. But in this case, I think Iowa State said, we don't care how much time we're spending on your side of the field. We're still just going to score anyway. And with just over a minute to go, Iowa State might be looking at turning this game around.
Yeah, I mean, a 2-goal lead, that's definitely not safe, as Milky will keep it centered. No, heavy touch, there's going to be no teammate there. Moon just fakes out Jones. And Milky, he actually misses now a 1-on-2 opportunity here. Salty, it will go very wide. Moon just tries to solo play it, won't be the best option. And now Gurp, just a huge clear out to the side where Moon is able to get touch. Who will be next? It will be Giro, actually. No Iowa State player off to go for it, but 20 seconds, nearly 30, has been taken off the clock, which in a scenario where every second counts is not what you'd like to see if you're anyone who's not named Nebraska or Kansas State or a fan of Kansas State. But right now, as this time ticks away, Gurf tries to put it over to a teammate, Jones, no boost, puts it back up to him, puts it center. It's going to be the Milky. Who's there first? It's going to be Milky still, but there's going to be no way to score that one. As now we are in the final 10 seconds, and unless there's a goal right now, it looks like we will have a game 4 where Kansas State is on match point.
Well, this ball will float above the Kansas State net, but unfortunately no amount of shots can equal the number needed to score a goal to tie up this game, as Kansas State will take game number 3, and they will be on match point for this important series.
I mean, I think I want to highlight how important this series is for Kansas State and for Iowa State as well. Obviously, the seeding here only is for Iowa State and Nebraska. This is a proxy war for Nebraska, honestly. They're rooting as hard as they can for Kansas State to win this, which right now, it's looking pretty good. But Iowa State, obviously, you win, you get your 1 seed. But Kansas State, if you're to win this, obviously, your seeding, it doesn't really change. You're kind of in the same zone as you've always been. But the first team you're going to be playing then in the playoffs is going to be Iowa State again. That's a team you just beat. You're going to have the highest confidence levels that I think you would have in any game that you've been playing. It's like, oh, we just beat this team? Yeah, let's do it again. So that would be huge for Kansas State. But right now, Iowa State talking to Vanish, who absolutely wonderful person for Iowa State. They've complimented in every single interview we've had with them, talking about how important this guy is for their success. And right now, let's see, has he talked anything up to their players to make this go to Champions Field?
Yeah. Well, and I know, and in 1 or 2 of the interviews, at least that I remember, the mental was a big thing that he talked about relative to making sure all the players were staying focused and, staying confident in what they were doing. And it's going to have to be just that. They're going to have to lock in on their mental. They're going to have to understand and trust what they know they can do, because they won game 1. It's not impossible to beat this team. They've proven that they can do it. In this case, it's a matter of getting to that point and starting to prove it to yourself again.
Yeah, well, great news for Iowa State. You did not have what happened in game 4 happen here. You have successfully made 30 seconds in, and there's been no goal against you. And right now, Milky will have control of the ball, try to take a 50. We'll go into the corner, and Now, Alien Techno will have control, but Jiro, who would be the next player to go, is gone off the field, but Alien Techno responds, avenges his fellow Kansas State player, but right now, it's another huge 50. There is demos across the entire field. People are being taken out left and right, and right now, though, there's going to be a shot on that Techno's worrying about, and Salty, now he's going to have his own opportunity off the backboard. Who's going to be first? No, Moon will deny Salty even the chance of getting a double tap, as Iowa State tries to make control happen in the orange half.
That was huge. That was an absolutely huge stand right there. A great choice to try and look for the backboard, as the demo did cause a little bit of confusion on the Kansas State side, but nonetheless, they survive it. And I think there was a little bit of an allusion to it last game that it was really their defense that was making sure that they were staying relatively intact in this game. And right now, I think that might have been a little bit of an overcommit.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't blame him. You're not expecting Salty to be at the midfield line and cherry-picking that shot out of nowhere, and a sudden counterattack. Iowa State, they finally have a lead again after 2 games.
They do indeed, and as much as it is a lead, you still have 3.5 minutes to go. So it's not exactly a, okay, we're up, we can hold on and lock this down. You still got a lot of game to go, as Alien Techno is going to be putting a shot on net. Moon just barely putting it wide. We'll see a 50 that will sky out to the other side of the field, and maybe this is a chance for Iowa State to extend their lead.
Yeah, right now, though, the pressure's getting to them. Jiro has 0 boost. I think the Iowa States have figured it out, but right now, the boost covers are being well. Moon, huge clear here, but Jones, oh my goodness, it's going to be way too high, but I like the play, but there's a demo now. It's going to make this more awkward, but there's another bump. Alien Tech goes backwards, and Kansas State thankfully had enough time to recover themselves, but it was sketchy, say, for lack of better words.
Sketchy is a word that you could use. A lot of the time, these defensive panics or something like that could definitely be put to that adjective, as it looks like another shot will be going on net, and the ball bounces up. That's not what you want to see when you're just trying to maybe tap in a nice, hopefully easy open net, but it seemed like the curve had a little bit of something else in mind, as Kansas State maybe holding a little bit of momentum here to tie up this game.
Yeah, that made me kind of worried there. Jones, he had no boost, gets to clear out, but won't be able to control. Now Moon tries to put the shot on target. It's going to be off to the right. Alien Techno decides not to go for it. Doesn't feel confident. Jones Milky, I mean. Shot not going to be in. It's going to be way too high. Both of these teams have had multiple opportunities now where if you just put it inside the lines, it would be in. If they're playing on quads right now, that bigger goal would have been helping them tremendously. But now Jones able to get it past one. Will try to go for an air dribble here. Will he be able to score off the backboard? No, can't score. Milky is going to be wide. Salty now got control. Takes a 50. Moon will be okay. Milky 50. Techno will be okay for Kansas State again. And Jiro will get the ball out, but he gets demoed. Suddenly, Milky, he has another chance. He sees a teammate inwards. Infield pass. It's going to be met by Alien Techno and Kansas State. They've lived again.
Oh, but that was an overcommit there from Kansas State. Luckily, Jiro able to settle this, maybe looking center to Alien Techno, who's not quite able to make contact, as Cumberland Jones can take this to the corner. Maybe Salty can follow it up. This shot's going to be just to the left of the crossbar, and right now it seems like Iowa State is going to be the one with the pressure, but I don't know. I feel like I keep saying the other team back and forth as this match goes on.
Yeah, both of these teams have had so much pressure on each other. Both of these teams have golden opportunities, even if the shot total is double for the Iowa State team, but they have a goal right now, and Kansas State, you got to score one to tie this game up and send it to overtime. But right now, Salty will try to break their hearts as we go into the corner. Moon, it's going to be off. It's going to be center. Milky takes a 50. The boost will be favorable for Jiro at least, but he will be meeting Salty on the middle. Who's going to be next? It's going to be Salty. Can't do anything. So off to the side. Well, 20 seconds. A chance here. Techno misses, though. Moon's going to have to slow down and wait, and it burned a quarter of their precious time remaining, and a huge clear burns even more time. Final 10 seconds. Kansas State, 1 goal to keep it going. Otherwise, we are going to Champions Field.
This ball will be up, and it seems like Moon might have a shot that is going to go wide. Will that stay up? No! We're going to be going to a Game 5.
Yeah, where else were we going to go other than Champions Field? Anywhere else? would we want to end the week 10 for both of these teams? And I think both of these teams might be a bit stressed out, but I think for teams that had such a high season, this game, I think since I want to say week 5, week 6 was hyped up as one of the most, I think, enjoyable games possibly of the season. Right now, it's living up to it. It was a close game, a nail biter, double the shots for Iowa State, but it felt like Kansas State had so much more. They were fighting for their lives, and when they got on the offense, they just missed wide. Moon, especially, he had an open one, but he shot it right. But right now, you get the Champions Field. Any mistake you made in the past does not matter because all eyes are on the brightest field.
Yeah. Well, and even if some of the shots are going a little wide, that is still a good sign. That is still something you could look at and say, we are getting opportunities. It's just whether or not we're fully capitalizing on them or not. Because as much as you can sit here and say Kansas State had 5 shots, Iowa State had 11 shots, if some of those shots that went wide from Kansas State were on net, that difference could be a little less. But that's exactly what's going to have to change in this game.
Yeah, right now, though, we are right off. Moon will be the first one to collect the ball. Will stick around. There's no person there. Pinches it center to Jiro, but Salty will deny it. And now Jones. He has been amazing this series, it feels like. Every win, you can point to him and say what he's done well. Milky tries to go for a sidewall, though. Will be awkward. Jiro will get something, and a huge pinch is going to be sending us all the way to the Kansas half, and suddenly it feels like we haven't left Neo Tokyo as the chaos emerges again. Techno has to get an awkward touch that goes high. Who's going to be first? It's going to be Moon. There's going to be a team bump, actually. Champions Field and team bumps. That feels like a Season 5 thing, but we're not in overtime quite yet. Salty takes control, gets bumped off, and again, the physicality will make this more awkward for Iowa State.
For Iowa State, and I feel like I've seen that. I think it was one of the Iowa State players that they have, I believe it's Milky, they have the most demos in the entire league. And I feel like that's something that they had a decent amount of success with in some of their, earlier games, in some of the games that they just showed some good dominance against Kansas State, as it looks like Jiro might have had an opportunity there, but I don't know if I've seen that too much within these later half of the games. Yeah, they won last game, but I've only seen sparks of it, and I'm wondering if maybe that's what they need to be looking forward to get some of this momentum, as Kansas State right now, they're putting shots towards their net.
Yeah, but we're saying shots towards their net. They're not honestly the most threatening in the world, but there's going to be an open chance here, but Jones will clear it out. Techno will cut it off. But up high on the wall, that's just going to go direct center. First person to it's going to be Moon. Salty is completely gone. Here's the highest boost person on the team, but doesn't matter when Jones can get clear. A traded demo will honestly favor here Kansas State. It looks like as Jiro, top left, goes into the center. 1-0 Kansas State. Nebraska is with joy.
Yeah, I mean, Jiro came out of nowhere, at least with respect to the camera that I was watching from. I was worried they wouldn't be able to catch up to that ball in enough time, but he places it directly top left. It has to bounce in from both the post and the crossbar in order to go in. That's as high left as it can go, and they're up 1-0 in this game.
Yeah, right now, though, I wouldn't be taking the foot off the gas. There's going to be a shot there from Salty. He gets a boost deal as well. Techno will have no boost for this upcoming stand that they have to take. In fact, Jiro has next to no boost. It's only Moon that has something, and right now, he's getting bumped off as Salty gets another clear off the backboard. There's a boost deal in the corner. Who's going to be the first to reach it? It doesn't matter because this ball is going straight to the backfield. Midfield, I mean, and Salty gets a huge M on Jones. Interesting thing on the wall there. Doesn't matter, though, as look at the boost totals. They're combined less than 50. And again, back in the corner, though, this will give a chance for Kansas State to reset.
Chance to reset, but I don't think Iowa is going to let them, as still looking at some shots, looking at some opportunities towards their net, although it will get sent to the Iowa State side. We'll have to see if they're able to recover it. Salty is going to take possession, grab that back left boost, and Alien's just going to immediately go for the 50 there. Not letting anything develop is a very good strategy, all things considered. So we'll see if maybe that's something that they'll hold on to, as a bunch of shots are thrown towards net, and Iowa State is holding on.
Yeah, but they're holding on by a thread, but Salty will be able to clear this out. Gets bumped, doesn't get demoed though, can stick around. Moon gets an awkward one, and that 50 will go back into the corner. There's a low boost 50 here that favors out Kansas State, and Techno gets a full boost, and now he's got a chance here. It's gonna be on target! All the way from his back corner is able to score 2-0 Kansas State in Champions Field.
Yeah, I think this was just a good moment to capitalize off of a hesitant defender. Salty, not quite sure whether or not he wanted to, try and go for it in a more aggressive manner or stay back and wait for the shot, and just caught him near post, putting it a little over, and just couldn't get up fast enough for the save. And it seems like Kansas State, they're going to be the ones to run away with this game unless Iowa State does something.
Yeah, but there's a minute left, and as we've seen, 2-goal leads are never quite safe enough. There's going to be a big pinch from Milky. He's going to make this awkward here, but Moon reads well. Has no boost, though. It's going to be here. Jones puts it straight down. It's actually going to be Jiro who almost makes it first, but denied. Milky. Solo play. Can't do anything. Moon decides to cut him off. Jiro, 2 demos. It's going to make this so awkward as we got less than a minute of the game left. Iowa State, they got to score something as soon as possible to even keep hopes alive, as this will go up to Salty. Where is he putting this? He puts a middle to Milky. Shot. No, gets saved. Salty did another shot. That's going to be in. 36 seconds left. 1-goal game. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. An absolutely diving save there from Jiro, but Moon trying to readjust himself in the net. He's not going to be there. The offensive player has anywhere that he can shoot, and he finds the right side enough to keep this to a 1-goal game. Iowa State is definitely not out of this.
Yeah, but that's not going to be a favorable touch as Jiro, he's going to try to put another goal on. That's not going to be denied. Alien Techno double tap. No, can't quite. Jiro, that shot, it's in! What was a 1-goal lead gets doubled once again. Kansas State will be trying to break the hearts of Iowa State fans. There's 22 seconds left, 2 goals. You need a miracle.
I mean, we have seen kickoff goals happen, and I don't think it's going to happen in this case, at least not for Iowa State, as Moon flicks the ball that is going to go off of the crossbar, but Kansas State not gonna slow down in any way with an awkward touch from Milky. It seems like this game is unfortunately going to come to an end as Kansas State able to stand strong, even with Iowa putting up a really strong fight.
And in the end, Kansas State will end their regular season play with a victory over the formerly #1 team. But now, Nebraska, they're the #1 team out of the North and will be playing whoever, either Michigan or Washington State, next week. But now Kansas State, Iowa State, there will be a rematch next week now with the bracket, but right away we have in 5 minutes, I believe, the next game. So I think we got to start talking about that one soon enough.
We definitely might as well. We're going to be looking at Texas Tech versus Maryland, if I am correct. We're going to be going ahead and switching to the Southern Conference.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, game 5 here. I mean, let's start talking about this next game. I think we have a little thing we want to bring up. It's going to be about the scenarios. What happens for teams win, lose. Texas Tech v. Maryland. Should Texas Tech win this game, it's pretty clean, it's pretty simple. It's going to be a 4th seed Texas Tech. They will be playing CSUF in the first round. However, Maryland, they're not quite out. They started the week out 1-4, had to play Western Kentucky, got that win, 2-4. Now this game is going to determine if they're going to make it in. Should they win? They're not quite secured yet. There's another game, North Texas versus Georgia Tech. Should North Texas win that? There's going to be a 3-way tie. We're going to have a triple head-to-head rock, paper, scissors scenario. Texas Tech over North Texas. North Texas over Maryland. Maryland wins. Then obviously they have it over Texas Tech. However, if North Texas loses, it'll just be simply between an equal record Texas Tech Maryland, and the head-to-head favors Maryland. Maryland would sneak their way into the 4th seed of the playoffs for the South.
That is an absolute steal. I feel like that might be the proper word to use. Maryland, if you guys have been keeping track, so far has been pretty far down in a lot of the standings. And this is their chance to make a pretty solid late season comeback. Texas Tech has been in that middle ground the entire time. But with some back and forth and only staying in the middle ground, is that going to be what causes them to eventually get overthrown for that 4th seed? Is this going to be Maryland's chance to at least give them an opportunity to make it to the playoffs? I mean, we'll just have to see, won't we?
Yeah, 100%. But I think we're going to obviously talk about these teams some more and more, but I just want to make a little new announcement. There is an extra game that didn't have much meaning anymore other than the teams get to play one more game in their seasons. Mines versus Pratt. Game went to game 5. Mines won that in the end. Don't fully know what happened over there, but that did need to happen. Should have Penn State won yesterday, that would have been Pratt needed to win to have their chance to stay in it. But obviously that doesn't matter anymore. But Mines, they end their season on a victory, and Pratt, after taking down Iowa State, won't be at the same, but glad to see those two have an absolute thriller of a game, I imagine. But again, back to this one, we got the Maryland Texas Tech. I think one of the ways that people describe this Texas Tech team is a very fundamental, like proper Rocket League type of team. Is I think the fairest way to assess it.
I would agree with that. I have looked at some of their games. I've looked at specifically their game against CSUF, obviously the current reigning number 1 in the Southern Conference. And even with them going out, they took a game against them. And in the games that I watched, it seemed like they were still putting up a pretty solid fight against them. Not through any sort of, fantastical measures, I guess would be a way to say it, but through some pretty proper, pretty fundamental, kind of play. And, that's something that can work to your favor, in the sense that you know what you're doing, but it's also something that can work against you. I feel like we've had this conversation prior about, I think it was Kansas State versus Washington State, in that sometimes, even though you can sit there and say a team, plays well together, plays as a team, they can be exploited, whether that is, with demos or maybe capitalizing on some of the predictability. That's just something that Maryland is going to have to tap into, take some looks at to figure out.
Yeah, and I think as we keep on going, I think let's talk about that. There is a possible chance here of some crazy things going on, but I think let's see. What do you think is going to happen, Nivex? Between these two teams, who do you think is going to win it?
Who do I think is going to win? I mean, I will be honest in saying that I've been behind Texas Tech a decent bit throughout the entire season, whether that is in my predictions or that is within conversation outside of stream. I think you're well aware that I have said I feel like Texas Tech is that just like maybe gatekeeper team is a solid way to say it. But I think I'm going to be a little greedy right now. I think that I'm going to, at least for now, and for the sake of the plot, maybe, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to predict Maryland, because
You're going for Maryland. Okay.
Because of two reasons. A, it would be an amazing story if they worked their way into the playoffs. And B, I think it'd just be entertaining.
It would be.
I don't know if that's cringe of me, but I think it would be very entertaining.
Yeah. I think the best. I think it's okay. Jesus Christ, you just caught me off guard so much. I wasn't ready for that. Jesus Christ. Now I'm trying to write, like, we have a spreadsheet that we're trying to write all the friends. I'm like writing Maryland for everyone now, and I'm just losing it. Even though I think he believes Texas Tech. I'm going for Texas Tech. They've been consistent solid. Maryland's had their ups and they've had their downs, and I can't trust the inconsistency against the consistent team. You know what I mean? So give me Texas Tech, and I believe fast and par for both under Texas Tech. So it will be you alone over there. But obviously, the coin might be joining you. What does the coin say?
What does the coin say? We'll have to see. We have Texas Tech, who is the home team this time around, so they will be on the blue side. Unfortunately, you guys can't see it. But if it flips up blue, you guys are just going to have to trust me. And Texas Tech is going to be picked by the coin. We'll have to see.
So
We'll have to see.
So it will be exclusively you running for Maryland here. I just want to note for everyone wondering, there is a little Preds thing that we do about keeping track of how accurate everyone is. Fast, Nivex and I are all at 59%.
Above average.
Above average. The coin is at 36%. So not great. And Parf has an 86%. So this guy's kind of like frying everywhere else. But this guy hates picking against the favorites. So come on now, Parf. Give me some like upset potential here.
He wanted to start off the first season of MCC with one of the most solid prediction records.
What, that no one's ever gonna beat?
No one's ever gonna beat it, but hey, he has it right off the bat. And you know what? He is the one who's running the league, so he might have some insider insight that maybe we're just not aware of.
He's sports betting on the insider knowledge. Come on now. It's illegal, but I think we will get in this match soon. But I think it's really interesting to see. Obviously, North Texas, Georgia Tech's got to happen should Maryland win, and we'll see what chaos unfolds there. But I think in general, chaos has kind of been the name of the game, right? There's still another game over in the South for the 4th seed. That Michigan-Washington State game, which no guarantees on if that's going to be streamed or not. That's very dependent on other stuff. But that's a game that determines just straight up winner goes home, the other goes to the playoff, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so far we've sort of had these games where it's like, oh yeah, there's opportunities. Oh yeah, there's these chances if this and this aligns. Obviously the last game was more of like a placement seeding kind of a deal, but that is going to be one of the matches to watch because, I mean, as you said it's whoever wins takes it. It often doesn't come down to something as simple as that, but we got it, and that is going to be determining our number 4 seed.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think there was some chaos, let's just say, in the South these last few weeks. At one point, there was a chance that Georgia Tech could have made it all the way, like straight up.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been very funny. It involved CSUF losing to North Texas, which spoiler alert, CSUF won 3-0. So I don't think that one happened, and I think Georgia Tech got eliminated with that one. So I was really if Georgia Tech. My thing I was saying was if Georgia Tech made it, I would have been betting on them going all the way to the finals. So
this is true. This is very true.
Thank goodness my bracket is not ruined. My bracket is not in despair.
That is something I think a lot of us production people were like, what are you talking about? No offense to the Georgia Tech guys, they put off some amazing games. I know early in the season they took some teams to game 5, but it just didn't play out for the rest of the season the way they did. So hopefully, it does somewhat suck to say hopefully next season they'll come back stronger, but next season we're gonna be starting to look towards that. We're gonna be starting to sort of see if these teams will come back, to see if maybe some slight roster changes, if the same players are gonna return, if this, if that. And when playoff ends, we're gonna have a nice big gap in time where a lot of potential is there. So even right now, if this season didn't go to your team's favor, you still have next season, which is just next semester, to look forward to, because we're gonna be running it. I guess would be an easy way to say it.
Well, I got some news for you, Nivex. I don't know if you were keeping up, but Maryland, one of their players had an issue come up, and they are gonna play still. However, they will be playing with a sub.
Okay.
Are you still sticking with Maryland? I'll give you a chance to change it if that changes your mind. I don't know who the sub. I don't know who's not playing.
Yeah, have we seen the sub play?
I think this is the first time we've ever
Do we
seen
know?
the sub.
Is this the first time?
I'm gonna quickly look and see if we have the sub on the roster sheet. But I think this might be the first. I genuinely couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Greater maybe. Grog? No,
Yeah.
we've seen Grog.
Okay.
Crater or JD Knight? JD Knight might have played one
JD
time.
Knight. I know JD Knight. I remember him playing at the beginning of the season.
The thing is,
I
we
remember
don't know
watching
who. We
games
don't
of
know which
him
one it's going to
playing.
be. We
We
don't
don't
know.
know. Oh, we don't know which one it's going to be.
We
Okay.
don't know.
I think that there's one thing that we have seen come up constantly throughout this entire season. And it is that when a team needs it the most, or maybe when a team is a little behind on where they should be, the super sub comes in. And you know what?
The super
I
sub.
believe in the super sub. I'm going to be sticking with Maryland. I already picked it. I know that things might have changed, but I believe. And belief is what matters.
Okay, well, I got bad news for you.
Oh no. That's
Everyone's
twice
calling
you
you for
said that to
everyone's
me.
calling you for insider trading. Everyone is calling you for insider trading. So you can live with that one. But it's okay.
You know,
It's not
fine.
insider trading if it's public knowledge that literally everyone else in the league that just goes looking for it, right? Is that how it works? I think
Yeah,
everyone can look.
I don't know. It depends where these conversations came from. If they're in the production call,
they're in the
talk, then no.
scheduling. It's in scheduling.
Oh, they're in scheduling. Oh yeah, no, that's outsider information then. So yeah,
That's just
no,
regular trading.
This is just regular trading, guys. This is just regular trading. I don't know where this possible slander is coming from, but I'm sticking with Maryland, and that's what matters. I believe, and it is the end of the season. And right now, this is when players show up and do what they need to do. And that is what's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, we're going to keep on waiting here for a bit for Maryland to get their sub all good. But I think while we have some time, I think we should just take a quick look back at what in the world has happened in the MCC, right? There's a chance it's the last regular conference stream. So I think the plans right now, I think we'll give a spoiler. Playoffs times, we'll probably have a little desk moment where we'll just talk about the entire season, recap, so we won't fully go against it. But yeah, thank you for the standings. That's great. And obviously, not updated for the games today. So you can asterisk some of these. But Nebraska, 6-1, number 1 seed. Kansas State is the 2 seed. Iowa State is the 3. Michigan, Washington State, 4/5. We'll find out. And then Pratt, PSU, and Mines are just chilling there. I think technically, Mines is above Pratt. Do the head-to-head stuff, maybe. But all three of those teams are like in a 3-way tie for not last. So yeah, sure. And then obviously we look over to the South. CSUF 10-0. They have 7-0 the conference. They've been looking absolutely clinical. They've had their rough patches here and there, but in the end, they haven't dropped one. Well, the question is, are they going to be able to go a perfect season? Will they be that team, or are they going to have a loss in there somewhere? Is a big question. OKWU, another team that's been, I'm not going to say they were under the radar, because I think people have appreciated them, but they definitely weren't hyped up as much as like the North top 3 were. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I definitely agree that's fair to say. It's one of those teams, I feel like, that the South, if you're a team in the South, you just did not want to run into them. But it is not to the likes of a CSUF where you're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be such a tough challenge. But at the same time, you're sitting there and like, okay, hold on. This team is just, they're not going to let up. They're not going to give us a chance to get our ground. And I mean, they did that. They only dropped one game, I believe. That stands true.
Play. Yeah.
In conference play. Yeah.
In conference play.
Yeah. So obviously very much so deserving of that number 2 spot. Clemson right below them, a little bit of, maybe not sweeping in last second to really reach that number 3 seed because they had decent odds going into it, but a decent amount of up and down from them early on in the season. They were, one of the teams that were like, oh yeah, they're going to be coming in with a lot of power. They have some good looks for them, and then a little bit of a slowdown. They had, their sub beans come in, the super sub, just like we're going to see today. And all of a sudden kind of flipped them around a bit. secured that number 3 seed. Pretty solid performance. And then now we have everyone else. Texas Tech, Maryland, and then, whoever else decides to make it interesting for Maryland's benefit.
Yeah, 100%. But I think right now players are joining lobby, getting things sorted out in the end. But yeah, I think let's talk about that middle of the pack over in the Southern Conference. Obviously, Texas Tech, Maryland, Georgia Tech, North Texas. They came into this week 10. No clue who in the world was going to be the team that's going to be at the top, right? Obviously, we have lost. What was it called? We have officially lost that North Texas. I mean, not North Texas, Georgia Tech team.
Mm-hmm.
We still have the North Texas team. Texas Tech and Maryland obviously are going to be the right now thing. And then Western Kentucky, unfortunately, not quite the time that they wanted. But I think we can stop all the talking because we have finally gotten our game, Maryland versus Texas Tech. We got Maryland on the orange side, Texas Tech on the blue, as we go underway for what could possibly be the decider of the number 4 seed in the South. As right away, there's almost a goal in Maryland, but not quite. Texas Tech can't score it.
Apologies. I might be a little distracted at the moment. Does Fruck have carriage wheels on? Is that did I see that properly?
I wasn't. Brock has the carriage wheel. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but it's like you can't run away from it. But Moose, he does not care what wheels he has on. He will just be scoring 30 seconds into the game, and 1-0 Texas Tech.
Yeah, not the strongest start that I want to see out of the Maryland guys, but again, last game, or last series, I should say, we watched. It was the other team that started off with scoring and started off with carrying momentum, and then, the other team won. So I'm not particularly worried, as Mist will send this to the backboard and maybe see if he can follow up with it. Not quite going to be able to reach it, and Moose is going to have to work the ball out of their own half.
Miss will just put it back into the corner. Jaden Knight gets a huge demo, actually. The boost is going to be very low, but T. Chili, he's able to get one. Fruck doesn't touch those carriage wheels, You go back to the Amish days, and you can't quite do much. The jumping, I don't think they're made for jumping, honestly. I think they would just snap,
Yeah. This is one thing that I always talk about in the sense of, like, you want to make sure your car feels light. You don't want to make sure you don't want to have it be heavy or anything like that. Well, I think his car is really light. I don't know if Wood is going to really be able to hold up against all this pressure that Texas Tech is putting on as they go up 2-0.
Well, Wood can't quite match Steel when it just comes to a head-on collision, and Moose is able to beat out Fruck there, and a minute and a half left. And right now, Maryland, they've had moments on the offense, but it really feels like that Texas Tech, it's going to be their game to control here in game 1 unless something changes, which JD Knight, the super sub, comes in off the backboard. There will be no follow-up. Slows him, puts it over to the side where Mist will 50 him. And Jaden Knight got another good 50 from him. Should be a shot attempt? No, not quite. But Moose, this guy's been getting every single goal. Oh, dear God. Don't be an own goal. It's an own goal. Moose, congrats on the hat trick. That might be more forgetful ways to get it for Maryland.
So one thing about wooden wheels is that it's really easy for their alignment to be thrown off, and I think in that case, Fruck just it doesn't have the alignment completely worked out, completely set into the way that it should be. So once he starts getting used to it, once he figures out, oh yeah, I just need to have my wheel a little bit to the left to match the alignment issue, they'll be good to go.
Dude, I'm on the player POV for Fruck, and I'm just looking at the back of the Octane, and there is, Jesus Christ, so much is just exposed. The entire suspension is just there to see. I mean, the brakes are out, for crying out loud, but I mean, a car design or not, I mean, you're not gonna be matching Scoobs anyways. But right now, Moose flicks it over. It's gonna be Slism that's in there next. Gets the reset. Doesn't matter. Just uses it for a wave dash. But Chichili will be sticking around. But a huge clear by JD Knight. This guy, I know he's the sub, but he's been playing not bad Rocket League at all. as he's been in, but missed. We'll try to score a goal here, but no, off the crossbar. You can hear that ping as it goes, as Lism will be able to get a 50 and a clear.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're showing signs of life right now, trying to get into this series, starting off 3-0 with half the game to go. Obviously not exactly what you want to do, but you got to warm yourself up into a series. As Mist, he's going to send this towards the backboard, but T-Chili definitely going to slow that down immediately. Obviously, right now, Maryland want to get a goal as soon as possible, but in this case, if you're Texas Tech, you want them to not get a goal as soon as possible. And it seems like that's exactly what they're doing, and maybe they'll extend their lead here as that shot will bounce down off of the crossbar. It's 4-0.
Yeah, Brock, I'm not a big fan of that touch. It's not really benefiting anybody, and in the end, that's... Oh, I mean, it does benefit someone. It benefited Moose. What? Am I frying him too hard? The dude's rocking the ugliest wheels in the game. That's actually not true. They're not even close to the ugliest wheel in the game. Oh, there's a goal! No, there's not a goal! Jesus Christ!
All of their alignments are off. Oh, no.
Okay. JD Knight, this guy, he's going to try to put it center. Tries to get a bump there on Moose. Can't quite, and Moose is just able to put it to T-Chili. Back to teammate, maybe? No, Slism. It's going to be too high. But just as a bit of a full 360 turn. He's going to try to put a shot on, but JD Knight, this guy has been immaculate for this team, honestly, even if nothing else comes out of it, as Moose scores his 5th straight goal. 5 for 5 on shots for goals. 700 points. Has been absolutely nailing every single ability he has.
Yeah. My excitement has dropped slightly. I will be a little honest. But this is only game 1. This is only game 1, and we still have an entire series to go. Sometimes game 1s can be a little tough, and right now, if you're Maryland, you kind of have to be thinking about that. You just have to sit there and acknowledge, hey, sometimes you're in a game, and guess what? Things do not go your way. You can't let that slow you down, as Fruck, unable to make contact the first time, but we'll call it a fake, and the sub will get the first goal for Maryland.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you gotta put a bit of an asterisk on this first game for Maryland because, they only found out about how they had to, get the new roster thing all set up, minutes before it was time, right? Unexpected scenarios makes this kind of unfortunate for them. But obviously, after game maybe 2, they're probably gonna be up to the swing of things, but right now, I think we say that. Great news for Maryland is, JD Knight is playing great. Bad news for Maryland. JD Knight is the only player playing great. As Moose scores another one, there might be a chance for Brazil here in the final 24 seconds.
I agree. The good news is that JD is showing up and doing what he needs to do. I think, unfortunately, to everyone's dismay, the bad news might be that Fruck is rocking wheels from possibly the Stone Age. So that's a little out of date, just a little bit for Rocket League.
They're not Flintstone wheels.
If they were Flintstone wheels, they might be a little stronger. It might depend on the kind of rock heavier being used, but definitely a heavier car. I know we had this conversation a little bit earlier, but we are winding down in this match. We don't know if we'll see the Brazil, but Texas Tech off with a pretty solid start.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Texas Tech, don't change a single thing. Let Moose do Moose things. 6 for 6, nearly 1,000 points dropped in regulation. I mean, he was having the time of his life out there. Had no issues whatsoever with everything going on. JD Knight also was probably the second best player in the lobby, I think it's fair to say. That dude was, honestly moving, doing stuff pretty well. All the saves for his team, got the goal, had pressure. Unfortunately, Fruck, get off the wheels. You have 34 points. Blame the wheels and move on. That's all I can say for him, right? I feel like it was just a game to forget.
A game to forget, indeed. I will 100% back you up in that line of thought because, I mean, losing 6-1, never really what you want to see.
Sounds like
but hey,
games.
Hey, that sounds like my ranked games too, if I'm playing 1s, 2s, or 3s. But that is besides the point because I'm not the one playing, and there's probably a reason for that because the score might look a lot worse if I was playing. But right now, Maryland needs to figure out some kind of groove that is hopefully not being made with wooden wheels to get into this game 2.
Stay here, you gotta wait for Fruck to join. What wheels is Fruck running? No, Fruck, you didn't change them! No! No, you didn't learn! As we go underway, the ball will go to Fruck, though, as he gets 50 instantly by T-Chili. This ball is going to be now JD Knight. He's just going to put it off to the sidewall as Moose. This guy, obviously, you expect him to be good here, but JD Knight will just cut him off. Those are the 2 players to watch for each of these teams, and Fruck into the corner. Messes up JD Knight a bit, but team rotates out, figures out how they want to go, and T-Chili just clears it out.
And well, in JD Knight, we're going to see if maybe he can get another 50 going into this corner. It doesn't look like it's going to come through. Fruck, a little bit of a backflip there, but that's fine, as it's not fine because Miss just got dunked out of his absolutely out of his mind.
Yeah, I think he tries to catch it there and just play it well, but Slism's just like, why are you trying to catch it on the back wall, man? And just absolutely takes him down. And 30 seconds in, I think it was technically longer than the first game to get the first goal, but you know, I think you would have liked it to take at least a minute. But right now, Jaden Knight will try to get this ball all the way out. Successfully does. We'll be meeting Moose again. Gets the pinch. It's going to be across. Who's going to be there first? It's going to be Fruck. He misses though, and suddenly Mist has to jump on it, and Slism will deny it. Goes try to upfield pass, and JD Knight will cut it off. Can't quite get a follow up though. But the boost totals are low for this team. Over here, it's only Moose that has boost, and the boost steal there from Fruck will be good, but Moose almost got demoed, but will not quite, and that will make a save there as T-Chili gets another 50 to get it out.
Ooh, and that was almost a shot there from Schlism, as that was a decent pass center, but Fruck, he's gonna, like, toothpick drive his way.
Oh, he's got, wait, what? This guy!
Demoed as Mist. He's gonna air dribble this man to the corner, top left. That is the kind of goal that we need to see out of Maryland right here. Is this a little bit of biased commentary? Maybe, but we have a tied game.
Yeah, I mean, it needed to come from someone, especially that wasn't named JD Knight, and it came from Mist, another player who's having a quiet game in game 1. And if you can see that, if all the players are slowly ramping up, then it'll be interesting to see what will happen here as this game 2 goes onwards, but all tied up again, and right now, on the defense, it's a good double from T-Chili. He's going to be next to it. It's going to be JD Knight just taking it across, gets the boost, recovery, and suddenly off the left wall himself. Can he reach it again? No, he can't. He's just going to take a 50. A 50 favorable. It's going to be in. Same position as Mist 30 seconds ago, and it works out spectacularly.
He just seems like that left wall. That's the wall they need to keep going to, as JD able to position his car well enough to get a 50 on that diving Texas Tech defender. And I mean, hey, they're up by 1.
Yeah, it's the first lead of the series for Maryland, but I mean, like I said, right? Game 1, give it a bit of an asterisk. They had an awkward time, but from here on out, this is like the real Maryland that's going to be playing. And already, the real Maryland is one that can put a fight, as Miss is going to try to go for another shot. Gets a 50! Gets it on Slism! Maryland 3-1 and missed. I mean, just 2-on-1. It's not fair for the other team.
Air dribbles, maybe a few touches or one touch into a 50. That is the bread and butter, I guess would be a great way of saying, of this Maryland team. And they're taking full advantage of it, now getting a 2-goal lead in this game 2. That's not exactly what you'd expect if you were here for game 1.
Yeah, no, 100% not. And I just want to point like a little funny little chat message that was sent in chat by someone we know. His name is Parf. Right after Miss got scored on for that first goal, he said they are frying this dude with the skull face emoji. Unfortunately, I think there might just been an own goal right as I said that. Okay, well, I was gonna say that Parf was wrong, and then there was an own goal, and now I gotta eat my words.
I don't believe it was an own goal. I think it was a little bit of an overcommit from JD Knight
orange?
there.
Am I blind? Am I colorblind?
It was orange, but he was racing back to catch up to it after pushing a little too far up to the midfield line. So not exactly an own goal, but nonetheless a mistake on the defense that is gonna give Texas Tech a chance to get back into this game.
Yeah, right now those Slism's gonna try to go 1-on-1. Did that just slide off of Fruck's car? Or whose car? Missed, I mean.
Oh, wait, it was a bump. I think it was a bump that ended up increasing the power. You know what? We have a tied game. You go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I mean, right now, missed. I mean, he had a sensational 2 goals, honestly, but not what he wants. But still a tied game. Not impossible. Ticho is going to try to make it a lead, though, but not quite. Missed. This left wall, he is back having his turn, but no, Slism, he recognizes that that is not a safe space for his team and denies it, but Jaden Knight, huge 50, Slism, no boost, but it won't matter because he has plenty of time and he has a large clear he can give as Moose goes lateral, first person to it. It's going to be Slism, actually. He's going to be pinched center. First next is going to be Fruck, who pops it out to Jaden Knight. Good catch there. It's going to be past Moose as well. Is that an open net? It's not going to be quite. Moose will be reaching it first, and Slism will clear away right away.
We're going to have to see a dive here from Fruck. I mean, I think he was in front of it, but nonetheless, the shot did go wide as a demo will come out from him now, trying to buy the rest of his teammates time to maybe push this ball out, which they do. And it looks like with a bump there, that might be an open net. No, just barely. Texas Tech scraping by to make sure that that ball did not go in.
Yeah, I think I got the vision that Fruck was going for. He didn't feel the most confident in his read. He decides, well, if I just take out the player, give my teammates plenty of time. Unfortunately, there was not plenty of time. Missed, almost put the shot on. Tito just clears it right out as that goes wide. Gets a sidewall double. Will met by Slism, but JD Knight cuts it off. It's going to deny. There's a huge bump. That's going to be an open net. Fruck's shot is so weak. The paper mache wheel strike back as it goes off the corner. Who's going to be doing first? He's going to be missed. He leaves it. He knows he's going to hit that backwards, and suddenly Texas Tech again have gotten away with murder.
Murder is a great way to say it because that should have just been a full through power shot all the way. But maybe with wheels that make your car a little bit lighter, they're also not as strong as it looks like Moose is just going to possess this in front of their net and get it past the last defenders that were diving to make a save.
And Maryland's best chance at a win has just turned into a nightmare. They had a 2-goal lead, and then it's slowly gone away, but it's gonna go to Mist right now. 10 seconds, Mist will be on it. He's gonna air dribble. He will be meeting Moose. Gets a 50, but it'll go to T. Chili into the corner. Who's next? It's gonna be Fruck. It goes high. It's gonna be to Moose. I mean, there's anyone else you want this ball to go to? It would be anyone but him, but Slism. It's still alive. Next person, Mist. Up still, but the boost steal from Moose is gonna make this so awkward. There's gonna be a double commit actually, and Moose, he has his time. He's just gonna air dribble, tries to put the goal in. He does. 0 seconds, and there's a goal. It's just for the team that needs it less. As we go 2-0, Texas Tech.
An unfortunate turn of events there for Maryland, starting off really strong into this series, showing that, hey, that first game was likely a fluke of them trying to get themselves organized, just adjusting to each other, but they just couldn't hold on to it. Too many defensive mistakes, just causing holes, causing moments of opportunity for Texas Tech to jump on them, and now they're going to have to reverse sweep.
Yeah, and I mean, the pieces are there. JD Knight was playing amazing. He still played very good this game. Mist turned it on. Scored 2 amazing goals and was playing well. My issue right now is Fruck isn't quite up to the pace right now. He's struggling on this field. I don't know if it's because of the wheels or something else at this point. I was calling them paper mache, but honestly at this point, I think it's too wet. They've just crumpled up. But I mean, we'll see as we go into game 3. I mean, you need Fruck to come alive, right? You need him to be contributing a lot more, and I think that's Maryland's answer because they were close without him.
Yeah, well, and it is a little bit forward to say that Fruck was completely the entire problem. Apologies, Moose has just been popping off so far. His name's stuck in my head, but there have been other small defensive errors that have caused this Maryland team to not get done what they want to get done. It sounds stupid to say that, but sometimes it's as simple as what you want to try to do is what you need to do. And right now, they're not fully going through with that. And it's causing them to lose goals that, they should be having momentum against the other team, but with Unfortunate follow-up and
Oh, what a
beautiful save from Mist as he will track down. No, he's gonna bounce off the post. We're gonna stay in this game. I'm gonna stop talking because I'm making commentating hard right now. But Texas Tech, they're gonna have to recollect in their own corner.
I'm gonna double check a stat that might be absolutely insane, but there's a non-zero chance that was the first miss of this entire game from Moose. Is that I don't think I'm entirely wrong if I say that. I'm double checking right now as this game keeps on going, but Moose, in fact, Moose in the last game scored 3 goals on 2 shots. He had a 115% shooting actually. D-Chili scores 1-0 Texas Tech. I'm sorry, Moose is playing like he's 2018 LeBron or something out there. What is going on?
You're telling me that Moose had 150% shooting accuracy?
He scored 3 goals and 2 shots. Yeah, that was his first miss of the series. That was the first miss to make his overall game accuracy 100%. He had over 100 in game accuracy in the series before that. I don't know, but right now, dude, I would have loved to see the stat line in the stats page of that. No one was ever going to beat that. But right now, unfortunately, it might just end on a measly 100% for Moose if this is how the game goes. But at the moment, Brock is going to try to put something, though. Gets instantly destroyed by Moose. I mean, who else was it going to be? This guy gets the boost steal. Doesn't go for the shot, but he has a teammate there that will help him out. Gets another boost steal. And it's going to make it so awkward for the Maryland team here as Jaden Knight will get the clear, though. So in the end, it doesn't really matter. But I'm loving what Moose is doing. The plays he's making are so smart, right? He's like, oh, maybe I play a shot here that they're probably going to save, or I can just try to get the boost from them and make this long sustained chance so much harder. Even if it doesn't work, I'm just loving the thinking. But right now, Jaden Knight's going to try to make them worry about the back of their net. There has to be a save from Slism, or T-Chili, I mean.
I'll gladly continue some of the Moose glazing that we have going on right now. One thing that I saw from him a little bit earlier in this series was some of his off-ball play, which I felt like a lot of it involved some aggression, some demos that were giving them solid opportunities on net, or at least decent pressure that started making this Maryland team crumble, because right now, at least with that game and then now this game, it seems like they are struggling to find themselves, to find the kind of play style, the kind of groove that they want to fit in, but Moose doing the work and getting what he needs in to keep this game going, even though I guess in this case he wasn't really involved with the play, but nonetheless, his mere presence let that ball go in.
His mere presence, indeed. I mean, dude, I know we can't keep on clean. Slism, you scored it. Congrats, man. Both of his teammates have scored this time around, but right now, Maryland, I think it's been a struggle here for Fruck this entire game, and I don't think anything has changed. As I'm speaking, it comes into existence. He can't quite stop the challenge here as Moose just puts it off the ceiling, and his teammates there. And 3-0, 2 minutes left. I think it might be Maryland's ride is coming to an end.
There are still 2 minutes left, and we have seen some pop-off moments from these players as Miss will get a goal. I think it was a little bit off of some high expectations, but a fake in this case does work. It does work, and Maryland gets their first goal of the game.
All right, they're not quite out of it. I mean, I like that. I think Miss. Would you call that a fake? What happened there? I don't know if I'd call it a fake, but it kind of looked like one. Got a very soft touch that didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think it's fair to assess that. He was low on boost, so he likely had to go for that option. Yeah,
fair enough. But the kickoff was definitely a fake, and it worked out well. In 2 minutes, a minute 30. I mean, 2 goals, a minute 30 left. That's super doable. Sketchy, but doable. But right now, Mist will be the one with the ball as he's trying to stop this Moose that's attacking him as he gets bumped instead. I mean, right now, though. I mean, yeah, one Mist or an entire Moose. Which one are you taking in the battle? I think it's kind of obvious. Some water or just a straight-up animal. As Moose tries to go for a double tap there. But not quite. JD Knight tries to get past T-Chili, will deny it, and Moose opts to leave it for his teammate. Smart choice as he has full boost, and now Brooks is going to be on the foot race. He actually just kills the man instead as a minute remains. And that ball will slide over Fruck's head, and As we keep on going down, the boost totals are low here for JD Knight, but Miss gets a big B and a 50. That will go Moose's way, though, and there's nobody back. Is that going to be a chance? No, that bounce is the worst you possibly could have had for Texas Tech, but doesn't matter because they have situated themselves now to stick around. The boost total 16, pretty much, it feels like, for the entirety of the Maryland side, as Miss picks up a fool to deny it, and now there's another shot attempt to miss. Far down. 30 seconds left. 1 goal. That's a very real possibility.
It is a solid non-zero chance. That is a safe way to say it. As Maryland, they're only 1 goal down with 30 seconds left. We're not going to see any fakes on kickoff, anything fancy, but as I'm saying that nothing is going to happen off of kickoff, I think a few awkward bounces just makes Mist a little nervous, a little shaken to try and get that save, and right as soon as they're down by 1, they're back down by 2.
Yeah, and the hope that might have been felt for a Maryland fan has again withered away as Slism's about to score a double tap on their heads as he does. That's the hat. That's not the hat trick, sorry. T. Chili was the one who had the hat trick first. Slism, that's his 2nd goal of the series, and with that, Maryland's playoff hopes, I think, come to an end as Texas Tech secured themselves as the 4th seed, pretty much, for the Southern Conference.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish off the Twitch prediction saying that Texas Tech has...
Alright, let the clock at 0!
As these last few seconds will play out, Moose just with an absolutely amazing performance here, and Maryland showing signs, showing potential, and maybe that's something that they can take going into possibly next season. But, I mean, Texas Tech, they knew that they could secure their place by winning this game, and they went ahead and did it.
Yeah, and I mean, the stat to end it all, Moose finishes the game with a 100% goal accuracy. I mean, obviously, technically he didn't have it with this one, but 3 for 2 in that game 2 makes up for this lost one here, and I mean, what an absurd stat. Can I just say? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just... Huh? I don't know what else I could say, you know?
Yeah. Well, maybe it's to the point that we've said all that we could say. Maybe we need to go ahead and give a quick interview to one of the players. We're going to go ahead and have Schlism joining us on the broadcast. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. What a
What's
fun
good,
game.
guys?
Yeah, I mean, looked like having fun out there. I mean, I think I'm going to start with the questions right away. Obviously, congratulations on the win. With that, you guys secure yourself as the 4th seed in the South. Can you just talk about, I guess, the feelings now that that's all locked up? You guys have done the job.
Oh, I mean, it feels great, especially after the past couple of weeks at MCC. We finally found our ground, so feeling a lot better now, for sure.
Yeah, that is amazing to hear. I will say it didn't go down without a little bit of fight from Maryland. There were moments where, especially in that game 2, they went ahead and went up by 2 goals. Was there anything that you guys felt like you needed to change a little bit, or did you sort of just find that these odd end moments were not something to really affect how you guys play, and you were like, we know what we're doing, we're just going to continue, and that'll carry us through the rest of the match?
There was a slight thing we changed up a little bit. It's just basically we wanted to play our game, and we were on that second game. We got a little incompetent because of the first game went really well. So after that, we kind of played more control. That ended up working out for us, and then once that worked out, we just played with that the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, you guys look great out there, especially in that 3rd game. You looked amazing. But I want to talk about one of your players specifically who looked amazing out there, Moose. I mean, I guess I don't think you'd notice that right off the bat. But fun fact, Moose ended that game with everything going well, 100% shooting accuracy. He went 9 for 9 somehow. I don't know how, but the guy was just a madman out there. Can you tell us like what's like playing with Moose and like the rest of your teammates? Obviously.
I mean, that's Super Moose, man. That's the goat. He always hitting them shots. He's definitely been working on that because we have not we've been bad at shooting recently, so we definitely picked that up. Like I said, the past MC games have been rough, but we definitely found our footing out there. A couple scrims, getting a lot better.
Yeah, well, and that is amazing timing because now you guys are into the playoffs, and I will go ahead and ask you one more question, sort of gauging to get ready for these upcoming playoffs. You guys are going to be starting off playing up against CSUF. Earlier in the season, you guys did play against them, and you took a game from them, not something that a lot of teams can say that they did. So, what are your thoughts going into it? Is the confidence a little higher now that things are on the upswing? What are the thoughts?
Honestly, that game was really weird for us. We lost by 2 0-second goals for 2 games. It was we definitely had them on the back foot too.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel very confident against them. We tend to play better against faster teams. So that's something that we're definitely looking forward to. Like it's like we did great against them too. Oh, I was so angry about those 2 0-second goals. But I'm definitely willing to have that back for sure.
Yeah, I mean, chance for redemption now coming into the playoffs, but we won't hold you here for any longer. So thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the playoff berth. We hope you have a good one.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brothers.
Yep. We will see you.
I'll see you guys later.
Yep, see ya.
So, yeah.
But with that, that officially ends the week 10 for today. And other than the North number 4 seed, we have 7 of the spots in the MCC playoffs all locked up. And I think it's time to us to announce, Nivex, what style format we're going for this playoffs, don't you think?
You know, I think it might be a little important. It might be something that people, quite possibly might be interested in knowing. There's a little thing called double elim that I know sits well in the hearts of a lot of Rocket League players. A lot of the early days of Rocket League had that same thing. That is exactly what we are going to be bringing to our MCC playoffs for this season.
Yep, it's there on the board, but as you can see, we will be starting off the upper bracket. It will be pretty much, it's a mini little bracket within each conference. You'll have the 1-4-2-3 teams play in the north and the 1-4-2-3 teams play in the south. They'll play, then you'll have obviously then that GH game. You'll see another north-north, south-south game. And then upper finals will be a guaranteed north-south fight for someone in the grand finals. However, if you look down into the lower bracket on the remaining lives, you see that first game is D and A loser. You will be seeing starting the mix-up of the North and South. There's been questions. There's been talks about, is the North better, the South better? How much better is CSUF compared to the likes of Nebraska and Iowa State and Kansas? Can the lower end teams, can the Texas Techs, the OKWUs, hold their own against, say, the 4th seed, the Washington States or the Michigans? Well, we'll find out in the playoffs.
Wow. I'm going to state right off the bat, saying that OKWU is on the lower end of play is definitely something. I don't know if we have any OKWU people in chat. I don't know if we do, but
I was going to say Clemson, but I can't say the Clemson because Clemson's been great.
But if we do, I want to see you guys saying stuff. But nonetheless, we have some absolutely amazing lineups that are going to be happening right now. Obviously, double elimination means that one of the teams, they're going to make it out of that top. And they're going to have 2 lives to take down whoever's going to come out of that lower half. But who knows what that could mean? Who knows how that could play out? Because for the first time since the beginning of the season, we're going to be having conferences mix here. We're going to figure out whether or not the 4 seed for North is better than the 4 seed for South, or whatever combination you want to think of. So a lot of potential. A lot of good games that are going to come out of it, and man, we have a few amazing days ahead.
Yeah, there'll be so much fun, and for everyone wondering, the playoffs, they just start next week on the 22nd. We will be beginning playoff fighting. But we will be seeing 2 rounds pretty much happening in that week. Then the Sunday, the 26th, will be the following. And then the 29th, that's another Wednesday, you'll be seeing the final 4 games. That will be the upper finals, the lower semis, the lower finals, and the grand finals on that last day, the 29th. And we will be officially crowning the Meridian Collegiate Conference champion. But that's a good ways from now. And I think we will be calling the night here, but obviously, you can ask yourself the question, is the North better, the South better? Some questions, those will be answered next week as we start MCC playoffs.